Hi, I'm Rob Townsend, the CEO at Camber. We get asked a lot of questions about how fees work in wealth management. They're good questions. Fees can be hard to understand, and though the percentages can seem small, the cost is significant. We're going to go into the specifics on how fees are charged at Camber, what's included, what's not, and attempt to add some context over whether the fees are worth paying for you. To start, it's important to understand the two dominant systems for how fees are charged in Canada. Commission-based, you're paying the advisor per transaction for buys and sells. They may also be getting compensated through the products that they're selling you. Fee-based, the second system, you pay the advisor a percentage fee on the assets held at the firm. Arguments can be made for both. It depends on what you're looking for. However, today the trend is certainly more towards fee-based firms. In fact, the UK and Australia, there is legislation that has banned commissions because they say it causes too great of a risk for conflict of interest. At Camber, we are proudly fee-based. We're paid by our clients and not by product. What are the fees? On the first 2 million, our fees are 0.95%. On the next 3 million, 0.7%, and it ratchets down from there. It's a tiered-based system. We stand behind our fees, we're proud to charge them, and they are not negotiable. How do they work? What does that look like? On a $1 million portfolio, 0.95 equates to $9,500 a year. The fees are paid quarterly and they come out of the account. On a $5 million account, you can see the tiering resulting in $40,000 a year, again paid quarterly from the account. We don't charge fees on cash. What does the fee include? While many firms are similar, there are differences across firms and even across teams within those firms. Services included, and where the industry and firms generally align is on these following services: investment management services, administrative support, help on your accounts, trading costs, the cost of buying and selling the recommended portfolio of the investments, typically included. Where firms can differ is on custodial account fees and financial planning. At Camber, both are included in our fee. Custodial account fees, that's by law. Clients' assets don't sit at Camber, they sit at NBIN, a division of the National Bank of Canada. There's always a custodial charge, and it's up to the firm if it's paid by the firm or passed through to the client. Financial planning, I just want to touch on the importance of planning. Financial planning done right is by far the area where the advisor can provide you the most value. Planning puts the focus on what's in your control and leads to informed decision making. Those good decisions provide long-term value by compounding year after year after year. At Camber, we're doing everything we can to be a leader in redefining and delivering financial plans. Added charges not included. Fund level expense. Advisory fees in Canada do not include the cost of owning portfolios, such as mutual funds or index funds. To achieve proper diversification, you have to pay a portfolio management company to get exposure to the stock and bond market. This is a cost paid directly from your investments to that company. It comes off at the fund level and it's often not reported. We want to be crystal clear about this, and we'll go over it in more detail on the next slide. Private equity placement fees. We do participate in some private equity deals. This is an asset class only appropriate for our ultra high net worth or family office clients. The fees are disclosed in advance. The reality is private equity is not recommended for the vast majority of our clients. And of course, tax. Fund level expense. I mentioned that in Canada, fund level expense, or the management expense ratio, MER, is not part of advisory fees. It's also not reported in government-mandated CRM2 reporting that you receive each year detailing your fees and performance over the last calendar year. There's no effective way to avoid this cost, but there are meaningful differences. So to contextualize what that cost is at Camber, we can look at examples of one of our portfolios versus an ETF and versus the Morningstar medium average cost of mutual funds. A dimensional world equity 100% equity portfolio that we would use has an MER of 0.31%. As a comparison, if you're to buy an iShares global ETF like XWD, the cost would be similar at 0.48%. However, if you're in a more traditional mutual fund, you'll be closer to the Canadian average. Reported by Morningstar at 1.09%. In the interest of time, I've really simplified fund level expense, but I hope this at least acts as a starting point for understanding. So there are two parts to fees: a firm level fee plus a fund level fee. At Camber, for example, 0.95 paid to Camber and 0.31 paid to Dimensional, our fund provider for this example, totaling 1.26%. At the firm level, at least from what I've seen in my time in the industry, is that most firms are plus minus that 1% mark. It's pretty standard. Where the difference arises at the firm level is the service included, and more importantly, the quality to which those services are delivered to you, the client. At the fund level is where you can expect to see far greater differences from fund provider to fund provider. Many people incorrectly assume that they don't pay these fees when they do. In fact, a lot of products you pay much more through trading fees or performance-based fees. A full understanding of this is critical. The big question, are firm level fees worth it? Well, it depends. There is no one-size-fits-all solution. The most cost-effective way to manage your money would be by doing it yourself. And this is a realistic option for some Canadians. There are a tremendous amount of resources and tools out there to help you down this path. However, mistakes are costly. Your investment life compounds, and incorrect assumptions carried out lead to exponential mistakes. That will far outweigh anything you would have paid in fees. If you're not a do-it-yourselfer, that's okay. Most of us are not. From DIY, you can step up to 0.4% with a robo-advisor. This is a more recent offering in Canada. This solution targets using technology and software to correct the challenges of building and maintaining an investment portfolio on your own. And they do a good job. They provide a risk rating that is customized to you. They build research-based portfolios, and they take care of asset allocation, stocks versus bonds, Canada, US, international, currency management. They automatically rebalance the portfolio, and they also have tax efficiency features. A robo solution is focused on money management, where an advisor's focus is more on an understanding of your money. As you build wealth, there are an increasing number of levers that make up your overall financial life. It's the exploration and design of those levers that allows your financial machine to work most effectively. A comprehensive understanding of your money allows the advisor to really engineer structural value in areas such as planning, tax, estate, and peace of mind. With an advisor, you get all the benefits of a robo-advisor, but you also get a dedicated team, sophisticated financial planning, and help where we all need it on the behavioral side of finance. Is it worth it for you? Again, it really depends on what you're looking for and what your abilities are. That's it. I hope this provided a transparent way for you to see and understand our fees at Camber, and also how fees work more generally in Canada. Reach out anytime. I'm available. My email address is rtownsend@camberco.ca.